everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. We are so glad to be back. We weren't live for the end of last week because of the Thanksgiving holiday, but we are here now. We're filling you in on all the latest news, so make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. It's Jackie Ray here. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
What's up, guys? We are back. Happy Monday. It's your girl, Britt Johnson. You guys can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
So before we dive in, I would love to hear, did you guys, first of all, have a good Thanksgiving, and second, snag any good Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, or even Cyber Monday deals? Jackie, let's start with you.
I actually had a great Thanksgiving. I did a cyber Thanksgiving, virtual Thanksgiving with my mom. I actually cooked. I know you guys are surprised to hear that, but I made mashed potatoes. I know. I made mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes. I didn't do like the traditional because I don't really eat turkey. I basically eat seafood. I don't really eat like meat like that. But I made salmon, crab meat enchiladas, a whole bunch of salads, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes. It was a good time. I had a great time. Oh, and I didn't catch any Black Friday deals because no, but Cyber Monday, I'm already all over that.
Love that. And Britt, how about you?
Mine was amazing. I also did cook a lot. I always cook the greens and the mac and cheese. Those are my things. But this year, had to cook more. Did mashed potatoes as well. Worked a little bit with some green bean casserole, vegan loaf. I make a vegan loaf. That's amazing. But yeah, it was great. I spent time with, my sister and her kids, and we had a great small little Thanksgiving. My sister tricked me. She was like, oh, you cook all the sides, and I'll make the turkey and the ham. Only she just ordered the turkey and the ham, so she didn't make anything. She ordered the pies. So I'm the only one slaving in the kitchen. But I did realize that having a child is clutch. I had my 10-year-old niece. She was chopping everything. She was cleaning all the dishes for me. I just was like, you got to do all this stuff as my sous chef. So put her to work, and it was great.
Nice.
As far as shopping, I did not do anything for shopping really. No. I didn't catch any good deals.
Right.
I actually moved into my place, obviously you guys know, 2 weeks ago. So I was really upset to see a lot of stuff I had bought from my place now on sale, but it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, that is the worst feeling ever. Okay, let's jump into the news, you guys. For those of you in the chat, let us know if you took advantage of
Devin?
Oh,
tell us about yours.
I had my Thanksgiving picnic with my family, which was really fun. And then I also crashed my best friend's family Thanksgiving dinner, but I really didn't eat that much. I just went over there to enjoy it. And yeah, it was a good time. I had to pick up some makeup through the deals and the sales. So I just bought makeup, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and 23andMe, which I feel kind of nervous about. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the whole thing, but I really want to know. I don't know where any of my family is from, so I kind of want to see what that's all about. But that's basically it.
Did you do the family, or did you do the health stuff too, or just the DNA test?
The health
stuff is so cool. Yeah, I did it. It's so cool. All the little traits and stuff that you have, and conditions that you're could have pre-existing or whatever. It's really cool to find it out. You'll like it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what it's all about. So I'll let you guys know how it goes once I get my results. But in the meantime, you guys in the chat, let us know what you did for the holiday. Did you take advantage of any deals? And then now let's jump into the news. So Steph Curry has a new business venture. He's launching a brand under Under Armour, and he wants to compete directly with Jordan Brand. So Jordan Brand reigns supreme in the sneaker industry, and Steph wants to take some of that spotlight away and shine it on his own shoes and his own clothing line. The new line will feature shoes and clothing for basketball and golf. We know Steph likes to golf. It'll also expand to running and a women's section. The footwear will be heading to retail stores and online at currybrand.com on December 11th. He also wants to give back to the community, or I guess I should say he wants to continue giving back to the community. Under Armour recently refurbished a basketball court in the Manzanita Recreation Center up north, and that's being launched on Monday and is the first of many projects to come with this Steph Curry partnership. So it's a grand plan, but the big question is, will it work? Will it have a positive reception among sneakerheads and NBA fans everywhere? So Britt, can Steph's line hold a candle to MJ's brand? Do you think he's taking on too big of a task by trying to compete with Jordan brand?
Have y'all ever seen Steph Curry's shoes? They are trash. They are so ugly. They look like dad's shoes. They're terrible. That is probably one of the nicer versions of his shoes. His shoes are terrible. Yeah. They're like horrible. I can't stand them. Nobody's got, like, honestly, like, people would rather wear New Balances than like Curry's shoes. They're like not good shoes. I think it will do well in the realm of golf, possibly, because they are like kind of dad-ish looking shoes, I guess. So I think the golf portion might do well, but like, no, you can't be what Jordan was to Nike to Under Armour. It's just not going to happen. Like, I love the, big ideas and dreams and stuff, but it's Michael Jordan. I actually and I am a little, obviously I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan, and Jordan brand sends me free stuff. They just sent me the Jubilees for the 11s because this is the 25th year anniversary for the 11s. So they just sent me some beautifully packaged shoes that are amazing. But if you literally put any of Jordan's shoes, it can be 2s, 3s, 11s, whatever, 5s, whatever in front of you, and then you put Curry's 2s and 3s in front of you, which one are you picking? You're picking Jordan's shoes. And honestly, Steph Curry may be a little bit late to this. When Steph Curry was on fire, when he was a back-to-back NBA MVP and, winning championships and stuff, maybe he should have had this deal in place before that, because what people forget, Michael Jordan had signed with Nike and started at the beginning, of his career. And then as he was growing and becoming like, oh, let's do these Jordan 1s. And then he started doing well in the playoffs and all these shoes kind of were connected to moments of his career. So you could follow along with his shoes and buy those shoes at the same time. Because Steph, number one, is probably on the latter end of his career. He's probably definitely on the latter end of, winning championships and NBA MVPs and stuff like that. So it just doesn't mean as much after the fact that he's already done this stuff, because now Steph Curry isn't that guy anymore. He's not the guy everybody's trying to be like in the league anymore. So it's just like he's just a little late to even starting to try to do something like this, which is why I think, okay, yeah, your retired life with golf and stuff, yeah, that's going to take off, and you probably will do better in the golf portion of it. But for basketball, nobody's looking to try to like be like Steph now. There's already a new era of players like Zion and all these young guys, RJ Hampton and LaMelo and stuff, that people or the kids are trying to look up to and be like. So I think he just missed the mark on trying to be something. If he was going to try to do something like Jordan Brand, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and actually, Britt, you touched on the. Oh wow, there's that echo from you. I'm so sorry about that.
We don't hear it. You're fine.
Okay, sorry. It's always so distracting to me when I hear it, because it's like I can't think straight. But anyway, you touched on how ugly Steph's shoes are, and I want to get back to that in a second. But before I do that, Jackie, what I wanted to ask you is, do you think that Steph has the popularity and influence to make a successful brand that truly can compete with Jordan Brand, or is Britt right when she says he's a little too late to the game?
I think Britt's right. I think if he would have come into it, I mean, even when they picked up KD, that would have been like the perfect time, because you're kind of riding this wave, you won a back-to-back championships. That would have been a great time. I think Steph too, he's a little too nice to be the brand that competes with Jordan. One of the reasons that everyone loved Jordan is because he, we've said it on this show, he was just kind of a dog. He was gritty, he was grimy. Steph's kind of pretty and friendly. I don't think that's the person you think of when you want to buy some sneakers to go out there and compete with. So having a shoe is great, but if you wanted to compete with Jordan, there's a lot of things you have to do. Well, number one, like Britt said, you have to do it earlier. Number two, your whole image, which we're going to see some pictures later. Maybe that's why this whole beef up is happening. But your whole image just doesn't speak to, hey, this is the guy that I want to be grimy with. This is the guy that's going to give me that, lion kind of thing going on in my head. It's just not. It's not there. Those black and white shoes that you threw up there look like my Skechers booty shape up shoes. That's not what a dude wants to think about when he's buying sneakers. Those literally look like my Skechers booty shape up. So
those are worse ones.
So it's just not. It's not the right time. It's not the right look. I love Steph, but no, this isn't. People will buy them because they love him, but to compete with Jordan Brand, no.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. Jackie, when I saw those last shoes that Leo threw up there, I felt the same way. I thought they looked like shape-ups, which is not a good thing. You don't want your shoes to look like shape-ups. And I think that you're right. With Steph's reputation as this kind of golden boy of the NBA, I think that that's an awesome reputation to have. I think it's great that he's able to be so well-liked and kind of adored by most people, but it doesn't bode well when you're trying to create a shoe that's meant to, turn you into a real athlete and make you stronger and better and whatever. So I don't know. I think maybe the nonprofit stuff that he does is the way to go. But then just moving on really quickly, you guys have already sort of answered this, but I have to ask, does Steph even know what it takes to create a fan favorite sneaker? Do you think that he and his team can possibly come together and create a design sense that's actually going to work?
No,
Jackie?
I mean we've already seen his shoes. He's had several, signature sneakers with Under Armour already, and they haven't been cute. And I honestly don't ever really see cute Under Armour shoes. Like, not to be like, I just don't like. They're just not my style. I don't think they're for the masses. I don't think they've had a style of shoe that's like, fit for like the streetwear of basketball. Like, basketball's big on their streetwear. They want to be able to wear the basketball shoes, like shoes that you wear, out somewhere. Like, oh, I got my J's on today, so like I'm trying to be the cutest I can be. Like, it's not like they're literally making shoes for like, oh, if you actually do want to go running in like the forest or go hiking or something, like these are the shoes I'm going to put on. Or if you want to get your booty right and you. Whatever, these are the shoes I put on when I'm going for my walk, like those are the shoes that they've made before and have had before. And really only reason why I've known people to even wear Under Armour is because they tend to have a wider foot. So like they are for people with wider feet, and I other than that, I don't know people that are like, oh, I need to get the new Under Armour shoes. Like, they just haven't been that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. Jackie, I'm sure you agree. So I'm going to wrap up Need to Know News because we are out of time here. But speaking of looking good, I do want to say, Jackie and Britt, you both look gorgeous today. It's just worth mentioning. I wanted to shout that out. Now,
do you, girl?
We're well rested. We had a four-day weekend. If you want us to fumble, if you guys want us to look good on Mondays, just give us 4-day weekends every week.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I would actually love that. Now, Jackie, can you take us into the post-up?
Oh, that was so quick. Yes. Let me get my life together, and let's go into post-up, post-Thanksgiving Day edition. I hope you guys had a great one. Obviously, we did, and I hope you guys all watched that Mike Tyson fight. If you didn't get it, if you didn't pay the $50 to get it, if you weren't on Instagram, I feel sorry for you because I actually got a stream. I didn't pay for it, but it didn't work. But Instagram, everyone had it in their stories. I basically watched the whole thing for free. So I hope you got a chance to check that out. There's a little piece of this that kind of bothered me, though. I think we all remember, or at least have seen pictures or heard about the 1997 fight where Mike Tyson bit a part of Evander Holyfield's ear off. It was definitely the start of his demise, career-wise. But then on Thanksgiving, while we're all feasting and things of that nature, Mike Tyson was feasting as well, but he posted this picture. I don't like this picture at all. That is not Evander Holyfield. That is Roy Jones Jr. cake. And as you can see, Mike Tyson is about to cut the ear of Roy Jones Jr. off. He actually cut it off and made some joke that said, oh, it tastes much better than Evander Holyfield. And then he posted this of his dog eating like the whole back of his head. And then he posted a caption with it that basically said, from the dog's perspective that, thanks to my best friend Mike Tyson for making this Thanksgiving the greatest. Roy Jones Jr. was delicious. TysonThriller.com, November 28th. So this whole thing, there was definitely both sides of the fence on this one. This one definitely bothered me because, number one, it's morbid. It's a little too morbid. And number two, Mike Tyson is just not that person anymore. I think there's been tons of documentaries. If you've seen any of them, you know how toxic the demons he was battling internally, the things he was dealing with from his childhood, his marriage, the rape case, all this. Mike Tyson is not that person. He's not that person anymore. You could see it in his post-fight interview. You could see that he's more of a gentle spirit. So I just want you to take a look at a quick clip from that post-game interview. He's a happier person.
Doing in the ring, I realized is a gift not only for myself. Before it was all about me and the hot chick and the nice car and the planes and the boats, and it doesn't do it for me anymore. So I went another way. I help somebody else, I guess, right?
Seeing him at that kind of level of peace for me just kind of really made me smile. It made my heart smile. But then I get that we have to laugh at our past sometimes just to keep from crying sometimes. I get all of that. But the ear cake was a little too far for me. So Britt, I'm going to go to you first. Was this funny? Was this in bad taste? Is it just me? Because it really kind of bothered me.
Okay, so I have a very particular thing with that fight. That was the first, I was a little kid. That was the first boxing match I ever saw. And that happened and I was traumatized from it, like legit traumatized from it. So seeing that again, it's just like traumatizing because really that moment was a bad moment for boxing in general, like to have like that happen when you're supposed to have your gloves on, you're supposed to be fighting, and you're literally actually biting somebody's ear off. Like that's just like a weird place to be in a weird moment. It was like a terrible moment for boxing, like they had so many different like crazy things that happened after the fact. So I just I feel like he in a sense is like trying to like appease people. Like people are saying like, oh, you got to do this because that was like this big. We shouldn't remember Mike Tyson for biting off somebody's ear. We should remember him for being this great heavyweight champ, and like like literally just killing everybody in the ring without having to eat part of their flesh in order to do so, So I just don't like even going back to that moment because I'm just like, that was like even still, even though this is even the more latter of his career, that was still closer to the end of his career. Like he had been boxing already from the early 90s, late 80s and stuff like that. So to even have that moment then, and then everything that he did beforehand, as far as his boxing career was concerned, we don't even talk about anymore. It's just always that moment. Yeah. So I don't even like that he gets even put in a position to, because I'm sure he didn't think of the idea himself and didn't whatever. I think somebody, do this and post this and we're going to take a picture and market it like this and whatever, that and third and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just hate that he gives into those little moments, like, because it's just such a negative moment on not only his career, but in the world of boxing in general. And I didn't like it either. I thought it was just like, oh, come on, Mike, like, let's just let this go. And he did the same thing too. He actually hosted Shark Week. I don't know if you guys saw that like a couple months ago, but one of the things in his promo thing was like him taking like a bite out of the shark, and I'm just like, stop, we don't need to do this anymore. Like, move on. And honestly, like, I do want to say both of them, because I had a couple of my guy friends talking about like, why are we watching these old 50-year-old men that like look like they just drank a 40 before the thing? They looked better than 90% of the dudes that were talking crap about them. So shout out to both of y'all, because y'all looked good for your age, and to even be in the ring at all, like, it's tiring. Boxing is so hard and tiring and stuff. So shout out to both of them. And Mike Tyson did win. That was not a draw. Just saying.
Yeah, it was not a draw at all. I'm so glad you said that because Mike Tyson actually was boxing. Roy Jones would get one swing in and he'd be winded and he'd hug. He definitely wasn't in the shape that Mike Tyson was in. And Mike Tyson could have gone for another 8 rounds. Roy Jones looked like he could barely breathe, bless his heart. I felt like he needed a ventilator after that. Again, if you didn't watch it, make sure you go all over Twitter because I think Twitter is right when they say the real winner of this fight was Snoop Dogg. If you've ever seen Snoop Dogg do his commentary over the Nature Channel, it's hilarious. He just kind of leveled up on this one. Aside from Snoop Dogg, one of the other most talked about moments in time was the Nate Robinson and Jake Paul fight. We're going to get into a little quick clip from that. But before the fight happened, we did have this tweet that happened, which was basically Nate Robinson saying that tonight he was fighting for the brothers in the NBA, athletics across the world, and most importantly, my children. And Steph Curry said, hold it down. And then Steph Curry basically went back again and he said, he sees no lies with this situation. So, Nate says he's going to shock the world. Steph said, I see no lies. And then this happened. I want you to see how this fight is. It's still the oh Lord for me from Snoop Dogg. That is the most hilarious thing. Of course, Black Twitter went mad crazy with this. I was about to say something else, but they basically stole his card, so he didn't represent us. Even Nick Young chimed in, which I thought was so tragic. Nick Young chimed in that was no representation of the NBA family. But with all of that, the one thing that I did appreciate was Gilbert Arenas. His tweet is super long, but he tweeted out, or actually he posted it on his Instagram, this long tweet. He just basically said, you went out there, you got knocked out, and you became an instant meme. Now get back in the lab. That ass whooping was no different than the first time you had to guard Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Baron Davis, and me. We beat that ass up and didn't stop you from putting on that jersey 100. Great ass whooping by someone is what makes you a champion. Lick your wounds. Watch what you did wrong. Watch what you did right. Adjust, study, because it's never where you start. It's where you finish. And then he basically says that he should run it back with Jake. I actually love that because you just don't get a lot of that when you fall and falter this way. Sometimes people just really kind of kick you when you're down. I did a little kicking myself. I'm not even gonna lie. I created some memes myself. So shout out. I did because it was funny to me because he talked all this stuff and he just like sleep. So I did.
The moment I knew he was not going to win this fight is when actually, I know you guys have been talking about Chris a little bit in the comments. Chris Clark posted on his Instagram and he said he was going to watch the fight because did you see what Nate had on? He had on Knicks colors. He had Knicks shorts on and Knicks shoes on. And that was the first clue. I was like, oh, he ain't going to win now. Why did he have to put the Knicks stuff on? Why?
And if you don't follow Chris on his YouTube or his Instagram, that's all he talked about. People were coming for him like, oh, see what happens to Knicks? See what happens to Knicks? I'd rather it be the Knicks culture than our culture. So I'm down for that whole dragging of the Knicks. Keep that same energy. But, do better, Nate. Run it back if you can, but you're going to have to practice a lot longer than you did. We've talked about this one before. This next one, we kind of talked about it with the shoes. The first time we saw a picture like this, we thought it was photoshopped in some way, but I am convinced that Steph has gone from Steph Curry to Stephon Curry. Who is this man? I don't know how I feel about this. It looks weird as hell to me. I'm just going to say that. One user thinks it's a very good thing that says, these muscles are going to help him get back out there. He's a jack like Wolverine and X-Men. He's talking about he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's going to claw the foes with the sniper threes. He started the sniper three evolution, blah, blah, blah. But then this next user kind of feels like I feel. It just doesn't look right to me. And I think the biceps is too big. He's going to lose his shooting touch. I could be wrong. But we've all seen those people that they're too muscular and their arms don't go all the way down to the side and they walk funny. I think Steph is on his way. I hope I'm wrong, but if I don't know. I think I might be right. But of course, we know this next one is going to be one of my personal favorites because I love to see LeBron work out. But it does make me feel a little bit old because he's working out with his son now. And I remember when Bronny was born. Now he's gone from Bronny to LeBron James Jr. because look at how big he looks. This is ridiculous. That's a full-grown man right there, and I don't like it. I literally remember when this kid was born. LeBron is 6'9". I can tell that he's leaning down a little bit, but I don't know how tall he is, and neither does Twitter. So this next tweet said that he's basically kind of hitting his dad's height. He's going to probably be about 6'5", 6'6". I don't know. I feel like that's what he is now. But that first one is how I feel. Bron is out here looking like he's 28, 30 years old. I don't like it. Don't appreciate it at all. But he's obviously also hitting way more weights than his dad, because look at King James at 16 and look at LeBron James Jr. I can't even call him Bronny no more. He out here looking so grown. He's bigger. I don't like none of this. I need you to go back to your place. Go ahead,
it's funny because this is probably part of his punishment. I'm sure LeBron was like, no phone, no social media, no whatever, no games, no seeing friends, but you can work out for 3 hours in our home gym, and it's paying off because, yeah, he looks bulky. Yeah. I was shocked to see these photos.
Grown man. But, Devin, to your point, that's not the only person that's working out, because LeBron also got his favorite coach out there with him, keeping him in tip-top shape. Zuri is definitely his best trainer. I love this video.
This looks hard.
I used to do this with my dad. It is the funnest thing in the world.
8, 9, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get it.
She gonna go all day. She gonna go all day. She with it. And look at that smile on her face. There's nothing in the world than daddy-daughter time. I can tell you I love this, but no surprise there. I love everything the James family does. Now, look, sometimes, people, you have to read the room, or at least read the no banners on the wall room. So this next one is funny because it seems like Trez is going to owe this fan an apology because this person slid into his DMs to give him his opinion. And he says, so basically you trying to run with the Lakers. And he goes, only a lame MF like you would think or imply that. And then the fan says, I thought you were trying to get a ring. And then it goes on to this next one where he says, I forget what he says, but there it is. Okay, he goes, get out my DM, you lame as hell and stupid as hell. If you think the Lakers getting a ring anytime soon, MF's missed playoffs last 6 years, my bad. They didn't make this year's element, laughing my ass off, clown ass. I'll hit you. And then the fan says, I'll hit you up again in like 2 years, bro, when we win our 17th ring to your 0. We bleed purple and gold over here. Why did you even read this? You know what I mean? Because you could have left this unread. You didn't have to do no kind of responses, but you owe this person an apology. Brit, doesn't he? Doesn't he owe an apology?
He needs to learn how to use Instagram because he could have deleted his responses on that. Like, why did he put that up there? Like, before you go and switch to the other team, you got to make sure every bit of evidence of you talking crap about your new team are gone. Hire somebody.
Right.
I could do it for you. Like, you just go back and you easily just click unsend, and you can unsend these messages. But, man, I need to find this guy. He's a psychic. This guy's a psychic, so I need to find him.
Right.
I need to find him.
Well, okay, Trez. Welcome to the Lake Show, though. But this is embarrassing. Go back, since you didn't delete that or block this person. Just go back and do a quick I'm sorry. So we all told you what we cooked, and I think all of our dishes sounded like they came out pretty good. Gordon Hayward, on the other hand, he needs to realize you do not have to post everything. And there are YouTube videos that can help you cook if you don't have a clue what you're doing. But look how this man's turkey came out. This is ridiculous. What is that? That's how it came out the oven.
All right, let's see what's inside.
And the fact that he's going to keep trying. Stop lifting it up.
I mean,
it's called Boston Market.
supposed to be able to put it on this. Is this
Boston
the right way?
This is why my sister
That's the head.
That's the right way. But this is all the meat. So you're supposed to shake.
The fact that they are still trying to figure this out is troubling to me. I would not have posted this. Y'all never would have known that my turkey came out looking like some sort of mangled experiment. It just wouldn't have happened. That's just me. I thought it was funny as hell, but I don't think any of us are surprised. What turkey? There's no turkey there. That's
it didn't look like a turkey.
It started out as a turkey before Gordon got his hands on it, and then now it's just like bleh. So good job, Gordon. It looks really, really bad. You don't have to post everything, y'all. I know some of y'all don't know that, but trust me when I tell you, you don't have to post everything. But this next one, this one is why it's hard for me to say nice things about Lavar Ball. I tried. The last time I tried, none of y'all co-signed with me. But this is not going to be one of those times when I say something nice about Lavar Ball, because he went on to say, he posted this thought process, or an NBA Central posted it, where he did an interview and he said, I said they'd never, ever, ever, ever win. You know, they was talking about that the whole year. What did you say last year that somebody remembers? That's how I be living in people's heads. Boy, if you don't go play on the highway, wasn't nobody thinking about you when we went out there and tried to win that championship. But Lavar is literally taking credit like he's the voice that made the Lakers go out there and win the champion. I don't understand it, and no one else does either. Twitter got a hold of it, and I'm only going to post 2, but the comments was long. But this is how I feel. No one even remembered or knew you said this until you reminded everyone that you said it. I forgot, because ain't nobody thinking about you. And then this one says, if delusion was a person, so glad he's not the Lakers' problem anymore. Enjoy wherever. I agree with this too, because Lavar be doing too much. I'm not even gonna do a response from the panel on this one, because you guys know this man. I'll be trying so hard to be the Chris that actually wanted this man as a roommate, but I'm not gonna make it there. It's not gonna happen to me. It's just not. But we're gonna move on, because if you guys watch Weekend Zone with me and Britt, then you guys know that the Chiefs-Bucks game was my game of the week. I wanted to see how Patrick and Tom Brady matched up. The Chiefs barely won. It was very, very close. They ended up winning 27-24. That was due in part to Tyreek Hill, who rushed for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. He decided to do this hilarious response, but he didn't give credit to the person who originated this response. So we're going to play Tyreek Hill's response first, and then we're going to play the originator, and we're going to see who we think did it better. Leo, can you throw that up there?
Falling down on the sidelines.
Help is on the way.
Telling the fans, help is on the way.
I'm calling the president. President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare, because we are killing the Patriots. So call the dogs off. Send the National Guard, please. They need emergency help. Please help these folks. They're coming. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. Help is on the way. I'm proud.
I'm going with Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp did it better. Also he was playing against the Patriots. I don't think Tom Brady was playing, but maybe, I don't know. Tom Brady been in the league forever, so maybe. But I definitely think Shannon Sharp did it better. Ladies, real quick, who did it better, Tyreek or Shannon Sharp? I think the originator did it best. Britt, what do you think?
Yeah, Shannon sold it. You know.
Yep.
Who's
called the president?
Who's help Tyreek? Yeah.
Yeah, you just who?
Well, I get why Tyreek Hill wouldn't want to call our current president. I get that. So
that's fair.
I get that.
He could have said, "Calling president-elect." I'm calling the president-elect. He could have said that. Devin, who do you think did it better?
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys. Shannon definitely did it better.
Yep. All right, so that's why you got to give credit. And if you're going to mimic it the right way. Call the CIA, because I think Britt's right. You definitely don't want to call this current president. But anyway, the truth is that nobody's really checking for Tom Brady anymore, because I'm telling you right now, back in the day, if Chris Jones had done this maybe 2-3 years ago, there would have been 100 flags on this play, but not one flag was thrown. Let me let you see this. Look, head to head. Now, first of all, Tom Brady started it, but it wouldn't have mattered. Back in the day, Tom Brady could have started all that mess. They would have thrown flags, all that. But nope. Tom Brady got over there and he got into Chris Jones's face, which is funny to me, because Tom Brady know good and full hell well he don't want that smoke. But the fans are still about Tom Brady, and one fan says that this is Chris Jones's fault, even though we all saw Tom Brady walk over to Chris Jones. She says Chris Jones needs to take a step back and realize who the F he's talking to. And I agree with Andrew Lane, who said, why should he be afraid of Tom Brady? Like I said, Tom Brady don't want that smoke. That's all the helmets. That's all the paddings talking. Tom Brady does not want that smoke. But like I said, they barely won that. That was definitely one of the better games of the weekend, because it seemed like a lot of games were just kind of slow. There were a lot of blowouts, like the Falcons Raider game where the Falcons beat the Raiders 43-6. It just it happened.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. It was embarrassing. I kept flipping to it, hoping, just because you want to see a game. But in case you guys did not know, Damian Lillard is a diehard Raider fan. So this fan went to go check on him and said, "Hey, bro, you all right? How about them Raiders?" And Dame said, "I don't watch football no more." So I actually, right? Britt, I know you feel the same way, but I also know a lot of Raider fans. I don't know why I know a lot of Raider fans, but a lot of them said that after the Raiders went to Las Vegas, they just were not going to watch football anymore. So is this Dame being salty that his Raiders got blown out, or is he just like, I'm not watching the Raiders, I'm not watching nobody else no more because they deserted me and went to Vegas?
Combination of both, for sure. Like, honestly, I've told you guys several times, I have not watched football much at all this season. After, I think, week 4, I haven't watched a game. Being honest, I haven't. I had brunch yesterday, and I had just like 2 girlfriends come over, and they're like, "Oh, are you going to put football on?" I was like, "No, I'm not watching any football games." Number one, my Cowboys played Thursday, lost by like 50 million points, and then you want me to watch another game and watch these other teams? Well, I don't think so. But there's no football season this year. I just don't believe there's a football season this year. It doesn't count. This year doesn't count. 2020 doesn't count, guys.
That's fair. 2020 is doing the most. But certainly not least, this is one of my favorite posts up because it's definitely a monumental thing. Let's just go ahead and throw up the video and give a big shout out to Sarah Fuller. Take a look at this. She's met with all kinds of cheers because she's the first woman ever to play in a Power 5 football game. I thought this is a beautiful thing to watch. It's great. As great as it is, I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, let's get the claps out. But I'm going to go ahead and say, don't come for me. But I agree with this Twitter user right here. I love the applause that she was getting and all the warmness and all that. But I still agree with this Twitter user who says, waiting for the ball to be returned, and she's the only hope to stop the runner. She's going to get trucked. That, when she bounces up from that and she feels fine, that's when I'll cheer. But until that day, I'm just going to say congratulations, but I need to see her really get in there and beat, because we've seen that time and time again where the kicker is the last hope from saving that score, and we've seen kickers get rocked. We've seen kickers do the rocking. I need to see where she falls before I actually start cheering for this. But before I get out of here, let's do what we not going to do really quick, because Britt just said for her, there's no football season. This is just not it. It's not a real thing. A lot of y'all seem to be saying that same thing about the coronavirus. It's no coronavirus. It's not a real thing. I'm going to tell y'all right now, don't do that. It's cool and funny to say about football. It's not cool and funny to say it about the coronavirus, because the number of COVID patients has tripled, I think. I think it's tripled. Anyway, there's 90,000 people that have been hospitalized since Friday with the coronavirus. The hospitalizations are the highest since the virus began. And you remember how crazy it was with the hospitalizations when it first started. A lot of you, and I know there's some of you in our chat, y'all think this coronavirus is a hoax. I personally know somebody who had it. I know somebody who had somebody die from it, unfortunately. So it's not a hoax. But I get the way that the government kind of initially released the information. A lot of you guys think that it's fake, because it's kind of, I was one of those people that I was on Team Rudy Gobert when he was touching the mics and stuff like that. So I get it. But at some point, you just kind of realize that it is being passed around. It's a thing. On top of that, it's not going to kill you to wear your mask, okay? So you can slow the spread down if you wear your mask, whether you believe it or not. And if you don't believe it, then do it just because it's going to make everyone be compliant with certain protocols. Because if you're not, then a problem ensues, like in Santa Clara County, where they've stricken their COVID protocols because of a recent surge in cases. And because of that, they've enhanced the guidelines. So now collegiate and youth sports, they can't play in their facilities. So that means no contact sports any place in that county, which means the 49ers, who saw an immediate impact from the virus because they got all this influx of injuries, partially because we didn't have a proper training camp, we didn't have the preseason. They don't have any place to play or practice, which means their December 7th game against the Buffalo Bills and their December 13th game against Washington, they can't play that in their own stadium. So, I'm sorry, against the 49ers. So the 49ers can't play the Bills and they can't play their Washington game. So those games will have to be relocated. They'll have to find new facilities. fine, that's bad, but at least they can still play, right? So no big deal. But it is a big deal because that just kind of shows you, number one, this virus is increasing. And number two, again, here's a situation that Denver had that if they had just simply worn their mask, they would have been a better situation. But all of their quarterbacks, including Drew Lock, Brett Rippon, and Blake Bortles, they were all ineligible on Sunday again when they played my Saints because they were not wearing a mask around Driscoll, who tested positive for COVID on Thursday. If they had been wearing a mask around him, they would have gotten tested and they would have been on the sidelines, all three of them, and they would have been able to play ball. But the stupidity meant that the Broncos had no quarterback. They didn't have one single solitary quarterback, and I mean nothing. They actually wanted to name their quality control coach, Rob Calbersi, to play the quarterback spot, but the NFL said no because they had nobody. They didn't even have anybody on the practice squad who was a quarterback, so they had to call Kendall Hinton in. Kendall Hinton is a wide receiver. He's not a quarterback. He actually only completed one pass, and the Broncos got smashed. It's not a fair situation to them, but I don't want to give them a pass in this because they could have really made sure that their players understood that whether you believe the virus is real or not, that is irrelevant. This is part of your job. These are the protocols that we have to follow and abide by so that you can get out on the field and play. It's really not rocket science. If you want to play, you follow the rules. It's really that simple. What your belief in the coronavirus doesn't mean a thing, but the fact that y'all don't even think that this is real is weird to me, because half y'all get mad as hell if you go to the grocery store right now and somebody sneezes and don't cover their mouths and then their germs get all over you. Y'all get mad about that. But this is the same premise, because I know y'all see spit flying from people when they just talk normal sometimes. There's a virus lurking. Wear your mask. It better protects you. It better protects them. If we're all wearing our mask, we're all better protected. And for the love of God, if your job requires it, wear the damn mask. I don't understand why you guys are doing this, but that's all I got for what we not gonna do. So now it's time to get into this with, Devin, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
It's time for Brits Takes.
Wicka wicka Brits Takes.
Devin doesn't have her mic today, so.
I know, so it's a little off. It's so cute, though.
That was so awkward.
Okay, guys. It is time for Brits Take. It is going to be a continued talk on what Jackie brought up. So she talked a little bit about what is happening in Santa Clara County. Now, they have banned all contact sports, and they have also included a mandatory 14-day quarantine for anyone who visits the county from more than 150 miles away. So even if I went from Los Angeles up to the Bay Area, I would have to quarantine for 14 days before I could go outside and do anything. So this is huge, huge for the 49ers, because not only can the 49ers not be allowed to play games and do whatever, they can't necessarily travel somewhere else and then come back there without having to quarantine 14 days before they go somewhere. So this includes their home games and their away games. And they have updated today what exactly is going to take place. And this does not include their practices, but the 49ers did release a statement today and said, the San Francisco 49ers have come to an agreement with the National Football League and the Arizona Cardinals, which allows the 49ers to host their weeks 13 and 14 home games against the Buffalo Bills and the Washington football team at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. The Cardinals organization, State Farm Stadium, and league officials have been supportive and accommodating as we work through the many logistical issues involved in relocating the NFL games. And then obviously they have not announced what they're going to do with practices, because like I said, that 14-day quarantine is huge, because they would then, if they left Arizona or when they have away games, they can't come back home and then have practice at their practice facilities or do anything of the sort, because they have to quarantine for 14 days. So let's get up that second tweet really quick, and then I'll kind of go over a little bit. So they also added the 49ers face the Cardinals in week 16. So they will actually be playing them in Arizona on the for week 16 as well. So now they have the 13th, week 14, and 16 where they will be playing in the Cardinals stadium. You guys, this is not something that the Cardinals tried to do to accommodate and be kind. This is literally strategic. It is genius. It is literally the best thing the Arizona Cardinals could have done, because I got one more thing to show you guys, and that is the NFC West. What is it called? Why can't I think of the word right now? They're oh my gosh, why am I blanking? What is it called? Their record. Yeah, their records. Okay, you guys, it's been a long weekend. Okay, so in first place is the Seahawks, and the Seahawks actually play tonight, so we will see if they win tonight. If not, if they do lose, they'll be tied with the Rams, who the Rams just lost to the 49ers yesterday. I don't know how that happened, but the 49ers did beat the Rams yesterday. So as you can see, this NFC West, which I have said since the beginning of time, is the most difficult division this season because all the teams are really good together. Like, all of these teams honestly still have a chance to take over and win the division, especially with those 49ers winning against the Rams, who technically could be, after today, tied for first place in the NFC West. So this is huge that the 49ers literally do not have home field advantage at all now for the month of December. This is huge because this conference can still go any way. There can be any champion. And Arizona, who will be playing the Cardinals or the 49ers on the week 16, that could be a game it's a week before the final game of the season. That could be a game that literally is going to predict who the winner of the NFC West is. And they have their home field advantage. They don't have to worry about traveling stuff. They don't have to worry about where they're practicing, because the 49ers still, to this day, don't know where they're going to practice. And this honestly could trickle down to the Rams. I want to be very clear with that, because yesterday the Rams and the 49ers did play. They played at SoFi Stadium. It was the Rams' first loss at SoFi Stadium. And that Santa Clara, California rules, literally things have been trickling down. If something happens in one area, it's not too far behind that. It especially could happen in Los Angeles County, who has had a surge of cases just alone in Los Angeles County over the weekend. I think our average has been 4,800 that we've gotten per day of new COVID cases just here in Los Angeles County alone. And that is something that could happen here too. So we could have two teams in the NFC West and then another team in the AFC West with the Chargers that could all literally be out of a house and home, literally, to practice in and to play games in for the remainder of the season. This is huge. Don't really care so much about the Chargers because they're not going to win their division. But for the Rams and the 49ers, this is like a huge hit here. And I don't even really know how they're going to technically rectify it, even in a situation where they do get to a playoff spot. Who is going to get home field advantage? How is this going to work, especially during a wild card round where we could see two NFC West teams playing each other in that situation? So I think it's really crazy. Honestly, the Cardinals were not doing any favors here. This all works in their advantage, because now this 49ers team is going to have to continue to travel. They're probably going to have to stay in a hotel. It's going to be like a training camp situation for them for the remainder of the season, which means they can probably be in a situation where they're without their family for Christmas time and this, that, and the third, and for the month of December, because they can't go in and out of Santa Clara. What are they going to do with their family? They have kids that are, probably on their computers doing schoolwork and this, that, and the third, and they can't move their whole family to Arizona while they continue to practice and stuff like that. And we do know what we saw it happen in the NBA bubble, like how, depressed players could get and this, that, and the third if they don't have their family members around them. Like, this is such a bigger deal than we even know of. And just moving those couple games, that doesn't do enough. It really doesn't, because these players still have to find a place to practice, and they still have to figure out where they're going to go home to after they go to their away games. How is that going to work out for them? So the 49ers literally are in tons of trouble right now, especially because they are one of those teams that are only 2 games back from being in first place in their division. And to have this happen in this moment where they've been picking up speed the last couple weeks, well, they lost last week, but they are on their 1-game win streak. But they have been, looking a lot better or whatever in the last, couple weeks or so. So it is a tough hit for them. I'm interested to see how it is all going to pan out. And this could be honestly the model that we see going into the playoffs for all the teams in the playoffs, because the numbers are going crazy for a lot of teams now. My friend was trying to come to LA on Wednesday and cannot come to LA on Wednesday from Atlanta. They canceled all the flights from Atlanta to Los Angeles. So there's going to be tons of things that are going to happen. And I think LA, both LA teams are just around the corner from having this happen too. So it'll be crazy month of December for football. It's not going to benefit any teams here in California, which is going to suck. This is also going to be in turn for schools like Cal, UCLA, USC, all of these schools can also be affected by this as well. So this is really a crazy moment that is happening. We are going to continue to follow it, keep you guys updated on what's going on, because this honestly can make or break the season for a lot of these teams. So that is it for Brits Take. But I did want to know, Jackie or Devin, if you guys had anything you wanted to say about it or add about it, or what do you think this means for the remainder of their season and for, the NFL as a whole?
I think that, unfortunately, I think we all saw this coming. We talked about this, when we first went into this lockdown. We all said that, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because I think we all kind of knew we were all going to let our guard down. We were all going to start doing, it's crazy. On our IG, I saw so many people when we posted about the Broncos that not having a quarterback. They basically said, so what? They shouldn't have to wear their mask. They're playing together, blah, blah, blah. There's just so many people don't take it seriously. And I think especially around the holidays, and I think Thanksgiving is the first example of that, people really want to be with their family. And so they do let their guards down more. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how this season plays out, because to my knowledge, there's no plans in place to push the Super Bowl back. There's no plans in place to do any of that. As it is, we're going to have the Steelers-Ravens game on a Tuesday, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I saw Kevin Pryor in the chat. He says this has been a mentally taxing NFL season, and it just is, because from this person testing positive to this facility being closed down, it just doesn't seem like the NFL really had a plan to say, hey, if things get bad, this is what we're going to do. So it's going to be interesting to see, and like we've talked about before, it's going to be a state-by-state case situation. You know what I mean? Each state is different. So this is what we're seeing right now. But if other states start to fall in line, a lot of people are going to be in trouble. And I just don't know. It's sad, because obviously I want them to finish out the football season, especially since my Saints are top of the NFC South. But I just don't know how this is going to play out. I really don't.
And the craziest part that I think I took from especially this weekend, not just hearing that, the 49ers can't even be in their facilities anymore, but even the situation you were talking about with the Denver Broncos, when we literally heard that the Steelers and Ravens game had to be postponed because there were players that tested positive. Why is this Broncos and Saints game not being postponed because they have players that tested positive too? Like, it just doesn't, they were given the option, well, you either play with no quarterback or you forfeit. They weren't given the option like the Ravens were to. It's just now the NFL is really starting to contradict their own rules or their own things that they're saying. And why is one thing one way and it's different when it's a few more players that test positive, or if it's another guy that tests positive? Because even the situation with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Patriot, or was it the Patriots? The Patriot situation, that literally was only one player that had tested positive for COVID, and they were able to just postpone the game. So it's really confusing. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But it's going to be interesting. Super Bowl, I think, will be fine because it's in Tampa this year, and Florida's Florida, so
they don't care.
It is what it is, but it's weird. Yeah, everything else is weird.
I thought that with the Broncos, and obviously I haven't read this. This is just my personal thing, but with the Broncos, this was 3 players that just kind of said, "Oh, screw the protocol. We're going to do what we do." If I was the commissioner, I would have done the same thing to Denver, because I'm like, how many times do we have to say this? All 3 of y'all play the same position. Nobody said, hey, maybe we should wear a mask so we can make sure we play on Sunday. That would have pissed me off. I'd have done the exact same thing to Denver. No, we're not postponing this game. Y'all need to figure it out because I'm tired. So I get why that happened, but you're right. I mean, technically you should be consistent. And if you're letting teams postpone, Denver should have been one of them, but it just annoyed me that there's 3 people that just didn't care,
Yeah. I think what this, one thing that I want to add here and that I think about often is if we had taken the initial lockdown orders when all of this was just happening, if people took it a little bit more seriously, if we maybe made it last a little bit longer, we might be able to be like New Zealand, like Taiwan, where they're having full-on music festivals, they're having fans packed into stands, and there's no COVID cases. And it's just frustrating to look at the rest of the world and see how they handled it. And then here we are, and every single week it's, a new athlete has COVID, another 10 people on a team have COVID, and it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But on that note, you guys, let's wrap up the show. We're 2 minutes over. We're going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so make sure you tune in, subscribe, tap the bell, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and like we have been reiterating this whole time, wear your damn mask and wash your hands. We'll see you guys later. Bye everybody. Have a great Monday.
Bye.
Bye guys.